a second.
Right.
Mm.
Get a drink.
Hold on, let me refresh this so that we can see ourselves and answer questions.
Yummy.
Where are we? Come on, Wi-Fi. Be with you in just a second, all of our 7 viewers.
Hi.
How about it? There we are. Yay! Hi, Spoiled NYC citizens. My name is Bella Noche, also known as Isaiah Cruz, a contributing writer for Spoiled NYC. This is another Cocktails and Contours, and my special guest this week is Catrina LoveLace.
Hi.
So, thank you for joining us. We will be your hostesses in Spoiled NYC for the next half hour or so. But as we do all the time, we start off with a cocktail. And everyone in New York City knows it's been hot as hell. Like,
Girl,
I don't know where this heat wave came from. I don't know what it is. And it's just like, 4 days ago, I was excited for summer. Now, not so much. But in the spirit of it being so hot, what's better than a frozen margarita? So I've concocted a very, very dangerous frozen margarita for us today. So we're going to be having fun. She's already blasted through more than one. But
not to call me out like that.
Why? It's more fun. It's more fun.
Really
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
So before we get into our topic for today, we're going to be talking about Pride and some very interesting things and developments that happened like today. But I want everyone to get to know you a little bit. Catrina and I have been acquainted for a while, and just recently we actually became kind of like cool, like friends and stuff like that. Yeah, there's so many people in the community that after you start working together and things like that, you get to know them. But tell us, how did you get started in drag?
Actually, I get started during Pride.
How
So,
very, very relevant.
Very, very ironic. I actually was my 21st birthday, and for my 21st birthday, that was actually Sunday Pride. So I went out in drag. Sorry, my sinuses are like acted up all the way.
Girl, the allergies are also. Bill from Phoenix, Arizona says hi, and over there it's 125 degrees. So I'm sorry for you, Bill, but it's hot over here too. Not as hot, but just as hot. Get yourself a frozen drink. That's what we're doing.
Hopefully it's not like as humid as it is here, because
that's the kills it. That is what kills it. It's the humidity. California can be as hot as it wants, but it's that dry heat.
But
you
as
can
long as
survive.
there's the shade and like the cool breeze hits
Or
you.
inside with air conditioning and a beverage, you're just fine. So continue on. Your first time in drag was on Pride.
Yeah, so I was like turning 21, and this was like when I finally like was able to say, yeah, I'm gay, I'm coming out, this is who I am. And I went out, and it was my first time in a Pride parade, and it was also my first time in drag.
So was your first? Had you been to the Pride parade before and just never marched? Or this was your first time like ever?
This is my first time ever.
Wow, first time Pride parade and first time in drag. She wasted no time, ladies and gentlemen.
So basically, like, my birthday is also my drag anniversary.
Oh,
which is
amazing!
gonna be in 2 weeks actually. So I'm gonna be doing 3 years of drag already. God damn.
Right, that time just flies. It just flies. That's awesome though. So. I've never done Pride and drag. This is actually gonna be my first Pride.
Okay.
Being in the parade and doing drag. Last year I hosted a party. Being in the parade is a little different.
It is.
You have to brave the weather.
And that weather is insane.
Yeah. Jerry, I'd like to think it's cool in New York, but it's cooling off. It's not as bad as it was, like, what was it, 2 days ago?
Oh my God.
When it went from like 60 to 90. I walked outside and I was like, ugh!
It was an oven. And then
try taking the subway and that stuff.
Oh,
Ugh. People know. Hit angry if you're mad at the MTA in the past 3 days.
And then the delays and no ACs. I'm like, well, you gotta get something, right? You're already raising up the fares.
Did you hear about that lawsuit that commuters are doing against what it was either Long Island Railroad or New Jersey Transit? Like,
yes,
they were doing a lawsuit, and now people are getting the idea to do one against the MTA because they're raising the fare every year. They're raising the fare all the time.
Yeah.
And then like not really improving
doing
anything. We got 3 stops at the end of the queue line, and that only took what, 10,000 years?
But then that messes us up because anyone that goes to Astoria now has to rely on the N because the W is not reliable at all.
True stuff. And on weekends, the N and the W aren't even working in Astoria right now, which messes with. I have a gig every Saturday night in Astoria at Icon. Really good stuff. Saturday night, come check it out if you're in the area.
Which I went that one time.
And you can still take the R train in Astoria. Yes, and she was one of my guests. She was a fabulous guest. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. So much fun. But the N and the W aren't working. So it's like
it took me like an hour and a half instead of those 30 minutes.
Right. I was just like, what are you doing? Why would you close the train on like weekend nights when like, ugh, whatever. MTA, I hope you're watching this. Get your shit together. So what was it like walking in Pride Parade in drag for the first, like, that's one hell of a stage.
It is. It really is.
Like,
it was very surreal, actually, because it was my first time ever out, like, in drag, and also my first Pride Parade. And it was just, like, a bunch of attention. I was getting like, oh my god, let's take a photo, let's do this. I'm like, okay.
You're like a mini celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that, like, how many people are actually, like, living for you. Like, there were so many families, there were so many children that I took photos of and with.
No, it's...
So it was really fun.
Last weekend was Queen's Pride.
Yeah.
And I actually was in the Queen's Pride Parade in drag. And funny story, not only did I see a very good friend of mine from high school who I hadn't seen her forever, that was her first time ever seeing me in drag, and it was my first ever high school girlfriend. And she lived. It was so great. Stephanie, if you're watching this, I love you. It was such a treat to see you. I was not expecting. No, it was so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
But speaking of Pride, it is Pride Month in New York City. Ooh. So cheers to Pride. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everybody.
And cheers to that.
Yes. Bill, a really good point. This is also the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yes.
I volunteered at the rally by Stonewall 2 days ago. And
it's kind of surreal because even to this day, every time I hear those names, I just start like crying. It's nonstop.
I've gone to like a few like political rallies and stuff like that, but this one was so emotional and not necessarily sad. There was just such a sense of community, and they were like reading off the names of people who died in like a little like obituary and stuff like that, and it was so touching, and just the sense of love and community and support that people have, especially in times like that. But yes, there's the anniversary of that, so even more so we'd have to be stronger and more positive than ever, and just being like, no, like, we represent everybody.
Exactly.
Like, there is, when it comes to being LGBTQ, there's every sort of person that you could ever want. There's no lines for dividing between us.
Every shade of the rainbow, as they say.
Which brings us to an interesting thing that just happened. So this is where I want you guys to sound off, because this is a very real issue. This is something that is literally happening right now. Oh, I'm gonna take your drink too. The rally was incredible, Zoe. It really was. It was great. It was right outside. You could have come. They don't card. I know you're a little. She's a youngin', but it's okay. Yes, Bill. Everyone's just trying to get along. The world would be a better place to just get along. Speaking of getting along and pride and rainbows, because I love a theme.
Great transition. It was really good.
They changed. They didn't change. Well, I guess technically they did change the pride flag by adding two colors onto it.
Officially changed?
Oh, girl, it's changed.
Oh, I did not know. Okay.
Girl, no, that's why people are going crazy, because it is officially changed. Now you have the rainbow, but above that there's a brown stripe and a black stripe. But ironically enough, the Bear Pride flag is brown and black. So when I first saw it, that's what I thought. I was just like, oh, they're including like, you know, like the bear and leather set, you know, so just all colorful, like you can be gay and like a little more like dirty gritty. And then people were sounding off about like race and stuff like that, and I was like, wait, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, we're part of the LGBT community and we're mad that they added colors because of, you think it has to do with race.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, not for nothing, yellow's been there for a second, but if you want to play that card, but who, like, the flag before was never seen as a race thing
at all.
They represented different things in the world and the community. But, you know, so when it comes to changes, like, how do you, now that you know that it's officially, we're gonna get a live reaction, ladies and gentlemen. This is raw emotion. So now that you know that the flag is officially changed, what's your take on it? While I pour a refill of our margarita.
Yes. I don't know, with these kind of like situations, I always try and play devil's advocate. Also, I'm
it's just because she's a bitch.
Yeah, true. I'm also not afraid to say when I am ignorant to a certain topic, because I'm willing to learn. and I'll show it. Like, I'm willing to learn. But for me, being a person of color, like yourself as well, for me, I feel it's not necessary because it shows everybody else and it's proving to everyone their point. And their point being is that even us in our own community, we cannot get it together.
It's true. We're just, as human beings, we just cannot get it together.
Exactly.
And Paul is watching. Hi, Paul. He said everyone loves a controversy. And that's true. Like, there always has to be something wrong to talk about, to bitch about, to be like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, she doesn't like that. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, as human beings, we do love the drama.
And unfortunately...
that's why we have reality TV.
Yeah, exactly. But, unfortunately, like, before, there was very thin lines as to, like, what you could and could not do.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people could have gotten away with many, many things in the 90s or even in the early 2000s, and people would not have been offended. But I feel nowadays, people are so offended by nothing. They always, like how Paul said, they always want to, like, stir something up.
Stir in that pot. Stir in that pot. Ash actually asked, does each rainbow color signify something? And the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know for a fact, like, the hot pink is sexuality.
Right. I don't know the one. I know the green is nature. But they all stand for something.
I think the purple was like spirituality as well.
Right, but it had never had anything to do with anyone's race, creed, religion. It was all meant to be inclusive.
Exactly. And the reason being, like, now that you pointed out, it's like, those are the things that we value in anyone and everyone that is LGBTQ. Sexuality, freedom, spirituality, nature, like all of those stuff.
And however, I would be interested to know the process of adding those two colors and what they signify. Like, it happened today. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on today, and I really didn't read probably as much as out there if the colors do mean anything. So if you're watching right now and you know what the black and the brown stand for, comment, because then you'll educate drag queens, and that's like gold stars in like Mama Rue's book. You're educating queens. Like,
exactly.
You get a free like lipstick or something in a past life. But even more interesting than so Zalika, another queen friend of ours, gave an interesting point. Who I had 2 weeks ago on Cocktails Contour, and she actually painted my face.
Who is she?
Who's she? She don't know. She don't know. She painted my face, did her whole like Team Triangles look. It was different.
It was
no, I thought it was cool.
It was really
and I posted a picture and everyone was just like, oh my god, it's such a different look for you. But that video is on the Spoiled Archives. It's also on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. We had a blast. She said they only changed it for the post. I know they like changed the flag, at least according to the best of my knowledge. From what I've read, they have changed the flag, they've added these colors, and that's where everyone's freaking out. And like, I've seen so many Facebook statuses today, people, talking about, checking their privilege, and people being upset, and people not being upset, and it's just like, it's gotten everyone into like a fucking tizzy. And it's like, it's still Pride Month. Like, wave whatever flag you want. The fact of the matter is the core message of what Pride is in New York City is the same. You could burn the rainbow flag and it would still be Pride. So, I think it's just a matter of like trying to get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like, shit changes. People like, you ever seen that Family Like episode where Stu was like, I don't like change?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a little bit of that too, and it's why America sometimes is slower on the uptake than other countries, is because we're so resistant to change. Yeah. So resistant. And
when it does happen, that's when like we're all up in arms and like just trying to like bring it back to what it was. Because
change is scary. Sometimes change is scary. Like, name something, because doing drag 3 years, you've gone through a lot of iterations of Catrina.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to do something as far as like a look or maybe a performance or something like that was completely different, and you were like, you're scared to do it? Tell me something that you did that was like something completely different that you did, and what you learned from it.
Well, recently I've been doing more like, because I'm very well known, like, I'm a very well known like dancing queen.
Right.
So recently I've been doing more emotional songs and more ballads, and just trying to like take the acting aspect of drag.
That's great. Because you have a very emotive face when you perform.
Thank you.
No, she has. Her face is like, her eyes are here, her mouth is over there. Like, it's great.
Yeah, I like to call myself the Mrs. Potato Head of drag, but no, but it's very much like, I was very afraid to do that, and now that I have done it, I know that I can, and I will.
So Sarah, actually talking about educating drag queens, #educate. The colors of the flag were originally thought of by the artist Gilbert Baker, which I did know that. To me, they represent all of humanity. What do they represent to you? You want to take that one first? What do the colors of the rainbow flag represent, or what does the rainbow flag represent to you as not only someone who identifies as LGBT but also a drag queen?
Well, I like how she said all of humanity. I love that it's every single color of the rainbow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's every shade and it's everything underneath it and above it, and like that's exactly what it should be.
All encompassing, exactly. That was a great question, Sarah. Thank you. We have another drag sister of ours who's like being funny, Adriana Trenta, who I also had here 3 weeks ago. Also fun, also in the archive. Check it out. She says, "I can't wait for all the tacky, outdated rainbow print leotards that queens wear during Pride to be replaced with new, tackier leotards with the extra 2 stripes." I feel like that's a dig at Alexis Michelle's last runway look.
Well, there you go.
However, she's not wrong. She's gonna like all the queens who had their like rainbow print. Now they're gonna have one arm's gonna be black and one arm's gonna be brown. Like, and they're just gonna stand there like that.
And then the mess up part is that always gonna be somebody's gonna be red. Like, you're doing blackface. Like, girl, no.
No, I'm doing black arm.
Right, exactly. Girl, I was about to get a tattoo and now I have to like reinvent it.
Yeah, and this is the thing. As humanity, it has nothing to do with city, country. Like, there's so many subsects of humanity that have been persecuted, still being persecuted, still finding their voice and their way. As much as we've come as a community and as a global community, there's still so much repression and so much that shouldn't have to happen, you know? It's one of those things that it baffles my mind sometimes how people are stereotyped and people are treated differently because of the way they look or because of the way they talk or because, girl,
even the way they walk or like just like the way they
try walking into certain gay clubs and saying, "I don't like Madonna, Britney Spears, or Ariana Grande," and they're ready to fucking shoot you.
Yeah.
Pardon my French. But
that is very true.
So what? Not everyone is gonna like everything that you like. And you know what? You might learn something from them. Okay, you don't like those three. Who do you like? Yeah. And they might come to somebody you never known. And it might be your new favorite artist.
That is very true.
So,
one thing you cannot say that you haven't done is not if you haven't watched The Lion King. Because people will want to shoot you.
I'm there with The Little Mermaid. You haven't seen The Little Mermaid? We can't be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, obvi. We're getting great, people like, so Bill, who's been very vocal, thank you so much, Bill, for like adding to the conversation. No, Bill, come on, Arizona.
Right.
He was saying how, like, you know, tragedy brings people together, like, after 9/11, like, well, we're actually both native New Yorkers, which we reestablished today. We had this story when we were at a club performing and drunk, and then we reminded each other today. I was like, oh, right, we had this conversation.
Yeah.
So we're both native New Yorkers, so you were here on 9/11, right?
I actually was not.
Oh, you were?
I weren't. I was in Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 3 years.
Okay.
So, I moved 2001, actually. Early that summer.
Okay.
And
so
then it happened.
But I was here for that, and ooh, that was a time. But
yeah,
everyone came together.
He did.
A lot of people came together, and like there are obviously a lot of negative repercussions, but things like
the
this.
The unfortunate thing is though that I've noticed. Yes, we do all come together, but at the same time, give it a week or two, and we all forget why we came together. And that is unfortunately such a sad part
true
of, like, humanity.
Yet sad point. Like, I remember after 9/11, like, churches were packed.
Yep.
Everyone was seeing their families, and 2 weeks later, maybe 9/11 was big, so maybe like a month or something like that. It was. It decreases in value, and I feel like sometimes you lose sight of the lessons that it teaches you. You know, obviously we never want these tragedies to happen, but if and when they do, we have capitalize on the good that does come out of it. I remember last year at Pulse, oh my gosh, I actually have 2 very, very dear friends of mine, they're basically family, that live in Orlando.
Okay.
And I was going down there a lot during that point, and I remember waking up the morning after it happened and having like 8 text messages. Are you in Florida right now? Are you in Orlando? Are you okay? I'm like, the hell is going on? And then when I finally went on Facebook and saw it, instantly messages like, did you guys go to Pulse? Are you okay? Like, it makes you so aware of the people that you care about and love.
Even here in New York City, every single gay bar was packed from wall to wall.
I wasn't because the next day they did a rally at Stonewall. I wasn't there, but I saw pictures. It was insane. It was like right in front of Stonewall, down Christopher that way, and then up Christopher. Like it was crazy. And the Pulse rally actually this year was very, very much a great turnout. Yeah. Like they were barricading off, and there were people on other side. It was powerful. It was powerful. People come together. People come together during times when, you know, you need support. You need support. Well, let's talk about happier things.
Yeah.
So, this is our first time like officially working together.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, cheers to our first time working together. But so, one of our mutually employed bars, a bar that we both work for. I'm over here trying to be fancy with my writer talk. And I was just like, girl, just say it.
Just say it.
Next week, I'm going to show with Catrina and a number of other queens down at Rock Bar. It's the big gay pride drag show. There's literally like 20 drag queens performing, right? It's about there. Next week at Rock Bar, down on Christopher Street in the Village, there's like 20 queens performing, and all the proceeds are going to Planned Parenthood. And I feel like that's what Pride Month is about. I feel like Pride...
Giving back.
Right. It's a time to give back because there are so many people, generations before us, so many people that actively fight both gay and straight alike. And there are still so many other organizations that don't have that. Like, with the political climate we're in right now, Planned Parenthood is one of the ones that needs help.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice to be able, as faces of the LGBT community, to be able to do something to give back. But if you're in New York City next Tuesday, and you're around, it starts at what, 7?
7, yeah. 7,
next Tuesday at 7. Good times, Rock Bar. There's lots of drag queens, really good drinks.
Cheap booze, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and the best part, so, funny story. So I'm gonna spill a little, like, backstage tea right now. So the bar owner messages us, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And was like, here's the lineup, whatever, but for the second act, you're gonna do duets. And here are your randomly chosen partners. So this whole week, these queens have been struggling. I was just like, girl, what are we doing? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Blah, 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 blah. So it's interesting. Some of this, who are you paired up with?
I'm paired up with Queen Victoria.
I love her. You talk about Queen Victoria for a second. I've been talking a lot.
She's a lady queen. She's been recently been covering for Petrified for the last 2 months on Wednesdays. They actually have a show going on right now. She's amazing though. She's very creative. She's also like does burlesque as well. So
burlesque is so hot. I love burlesque. Like, I liked burlesque before that movie that I thought was going to be bad, but actually turned out being good with Christina and Cher.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of my secret things. There are times I'm just feeling bad. I'll walk into my room and like, and I'll like put on burlesque because it's fun. It's just so fun.
It is.
And I love performing that last song from it. It's great. It's great. So we're doing that at Rock Bar next week, and like, Gay Pride Month is about that. Like, come out, come support, come see drag. Just go to a gay bar and like buy a few drinks and like,
exactly. Talk to somebody. Talk to someone
New York
that you don't
City.
know.
We are so fortunate to live in New York City because it's such. At the same time that yes, there's politics and stuff going on, but we are so fortunate to live in a city that more often than not, you can be exactly who you want to be.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when the makeup and hair comes off, like we're still just gay guys that want to enjoy life and have fun, and that's what Gay Pride Month is about. Enjoy life, have fun, support each other, love each other, you know, because you never know when you can't anymore.
That is very true.
Life, like I'm about to cry. I am now old enough to say life is short, or it's shorter than you think it would be.
It's very true.
And you have to
cherish
enjoy
it as much as you can.
Jerry, you have to come back to the Big Apple if you're not here already, because he's like, there's nothing like the Big Apple, and that's what we at Spoiled NYC love to show. There is no city like the Big Apple, and Spoiled NYC is such a great platform for everyone who lives in New York City and loves New York City. So thank you guys so much for watching and following and reading all of our articles and videos and stuff like that. So Bill, this is an interesting question. I'm gonna take a sip for this. Bill wants to know what we think of Caitlyn Jenner. Come on, pageant answer.
Pageant answer?
No, give me your real answer, bitch. We've been spilling tea with each other all night. Now's not the time to be quake.
This is the thing that I think about Caitlyn Jenner. You created yourself a platform that you could have done so much good with, that you could have opened so many eyes to a big like area and like a big public that doesn't know about transgender and transgender rights. But you turn around and you do the exact opposite, and then you say you're Republican, you're supporting Trump, which, mind you, there's nothing wrong with your political views.
There's nothing wrong with being Republican. That's what I'll say about that.
But
supporting Trump,
that's a difference, because he has been completely like blunt about how he feels about the LGBTQ community.
Right.
And even though her white privilege may show, because at the end of the day she is a white female, she doesn't realize the struggles that other transgender women have and that they will be having without all of these like even with the insurance that he's been cutting off, like all those policies that he's doing about what's it? It's about pre-existing conditions, you know.
Yeah, and she like as Sarah just pointed out, she made a few comments about that stupid goddamn wall, and you as a Mexican, like I could see taking extra offense to that. Like that, I thought when he said that, I was like, done. No way he's gonna be president.
During that whole
I've been wrong before. Doesn't happen often, but sometimes
it did. During that whole time, I was very fearful for my life, any and every day that I walked outside of my house, because I mean, I'm like out of drag. I'm very Mexican. Like, there's no denying it.
She walks around with a sombrero and sarape.
Exactly. Fucking chancletas and like Moroccan. Exactly. Just like that. No, but yeah, there's like people.
Well, good thing I made margaritas.
Yeah, exactly. There's like people that like just like throw out those comments about like building the walls. Like, I mean, as a drag queen, we had to take it and we have to make a joke out of it. Like I always do.
It's true.
But at the same time, it's like that's something that
it's serious. When it comes down to it, it's serious. And like, you know, Mary Lou actually agrees with you that Caitlyn Jenner could have done so much more. And like,
she could have.
This is the thing, especially as someone who identifies as Republican. Mm-hmm. She could have taken that and said, let me educate other Republicans of like what the queer struggle is.
Yes.
Being like, just be more understanding. So completely agree with you, Mary Lou. Like I think that was my biggest disappointment, where like I was like, okay, did not see that coming. Mm-hmm. But hey, welcome, girl.
And and also the sad part is that people kind of like shrug their shoulder at other transgender people such as Laverne Cox and Janet Mock and even like Carmen Carrera. Like, they're transgender women and also transgender women of color.
Right.
And they were doing so much that Laverne Cox was like wasn't she like the cover of Time?
She was.
So it was like, it's very much like Laverne was going to that route. And
because she is actually someone who can stand for the trans community.
And she's also educating people about transgender rights.
She's also gorgeous and talented.
She is.
Zoe also made a really interesting point that Caitlyn has a lot of money.
Yes.
She was able to do her transition a lot faster than most normal trans people can do. So for her, like, not to put too far into point, she basically became a woman overnight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, we woke up one day and here was Caitlyn, and it was just like, oh, you're done.
Yep.
Like, everything. Okay. But that's such a great point, Zoe. And that's why I was just like, you have so many resources and such an audience. You could have really been an ambassador, and like a Republican ambassador on top of that. Because like, I don't hate Republicans. I think
push the boundaries, girl. Like,
right, and it's just I'm saying Republicans have their place in democracy. They should probably not so much so in social issues, but they have their place. And I think that some of them just need to know what the rest of us are feeling, you know?
Because to a certain extent, it's just like a sense of ignorance, really. And a lot of people are always fearful of the word ignorance or being ignorant, but really is, if you have a sense of ignorance, it's just because you need to either let yourself learn about such said topic, or let yourself be able to want to learn about it. And that's what ignorance really is. And a lot of them don't know exactly the struggles that a lot of LGBT or even trans people go through. And that's exactly what Caitlyn could have done.
That's why we're here. We're here to educate the children. And I learn stuff all the time. Actually, a friend of mine, Gloria Swansong, who was also a guest on here, also in the archives, check it out. We had a great conversation about the trans community and trans rights, and she taught me a few things about like the pronouns to use, and I'm a lot more sensitive now about when someone is just like, well, what pronoun do you pronounce? And sometimes it's an awkward thing to ask, but I would rather ask that than offend someone.
Of course.
It's
you
just
never
like
want to assume.
Exactly. Everyone who is there is like I've been in situations where I'm in drag and like I'm a gay man who does drag, so I don't really I'm not trans, but there are drag queens that are trans and there are very few people that are trans, but the community has come through a lot of places where I've been asked is just like, do you prefer a certain pronoun?
Yeah. Blown
away by just random people, like bars that ask to take a picture on the street, like they just want to use the right pronoun, and that's a testament to educating like people, because again, this is America. You can be whoever you want to be and whoever you know yourself to be. So just live your truth. Live your truth, and as soon as you accept you for you, everyone else will as well. We're gonna do one last cocktail, because I actually do want to get back to funnier topics. We just keep getting back to these very serious fun topics, but everyone's loving, everyone's living. So it's great, and I would say.
We're just gonna bring up a funny topic, and then we're just gonna go.
We're gonna go straight back to like politics and real shit. So actually, funny story, and I don't know if this is going to be funny or go back into that. I had a conversation with you literally before we went on. She has these beautiful braids.
Oh,
I love it. I love the braid look. But there's a part of me that is a little wary about wearing braids. So I'm Puerto Rican. Full Puerto Rican, both parents, all four grandparents, full Puerto Rican. I don't look it, obviously.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to wear braids.
Yeah.
And I'm caught thinking, I was like, okay, will this work, or will people find it like, oh, who's this like blanquita that's trying to like wear braids? And like, I don't want to justify by saying, oh no, I'm Puerto Rican. Yeah. Like, I just don't want that.
You don't have to
like,
want to justify something.
It's actually stupid. It's stupid to have that, but it's something you have to worry about. So like, here's your question. If enough people say on the comments, do you want me to wear braids, the next Cocktails and Contours, I will show up in braids.
Yeah.
Or Cocktails and Contours.
Yes, please.
If enough people tell me to do it, I actually will. The next one, I will show up in a braided wig. So, and that's my personal challenge. So everyone sound off. If we get enough likes and loves and prouds, I will show up the next one with braids and wigs. And Wendy Wax is my next guest. Okay. So yeah.
She'll bring her little Whitney number.
Right, she'll bring her little Whitney thing. I'll be here with like, I feel like what's her face from Angela Bassett from like American Horror Story, the Voodoo Queen. Like,
or she's just getting like Michonne from The Walking Dead.
I love it. Yeah, they're about it.
God.
Okay, we have another interesting question from Adriana. Come on, Adriana, using your brain. How do you feel about the sexualization of the Pride Parade? I will talk about this. No, there's been like, you don't like, there are memes like Pride, like there's
you
this
mean
like
those comparisons,
like the Pride Parade is this, and it's people holding the signs versus this with like guys in like thongs dancing like blah. Okay. And I think, for at least my opinion, I think that sexuality is a form of freedom, and the entire Pride movement is about freedom. So if you want to go out, show your entire body, gyrate, fuck wherever you want, that's fine as long as you're doing it safe and not endangering anybody. I think that you have a right to be just as sexual as you want, because back in the 70s and 80s, they were sexual. You just couldn't be sexual in public. Now we're being sexual in public because it's accepted and people are losing their heads. Being like, that's not pride. And it's like, well, I mean, in those bathrooms at Ramrod back in the day, you were showing your pride, but
those
just
bathhouses, girl.
Exactly. There's one left. There used to be tons.
Yeah.
But it's just like back then, your sexuality was more kept in, much like being gay. But now that being gay is out, we're free to be sexually out. So here's the question. Going back to the thing, what is the most sexual thing you've done in public?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Do we have to want to like go into that?
Girl, I'm just concerned that you should choose one story over 5.
Yeah, basically. The most sexual thing I've done in public, I guess it was like me having sex in a park and then like 5 people watching us, and it was like they were all dog walkers. It was
dog walkers. Yeah, I mean, that's a cruising walk, girl.
You know, that's what we call it. No, but back to like Adriana's question. Like now I get like now that you talked about it.
Yeah.
It's everyone is free to express their freedom and also like you said their sexuality the way that they want to. I will never walk out and like no clothes because that's just how I want to express myself. Also, it's very much like it's kind of like us sticking the middle finger to everybody. Like, I don't know if you've been to a Pride where the Westboro Baptist Church is there, but the last time I went there...
I'm not even gonna talk, like, Westboro can, like, suck my left hip. Like...
But I went there and they were there, and then it was so amazing seeing everybody, not even, like, being hateful towards them, but just, like, showing love and, like just twerking their asses in front of their face and just be, like, laughing.
It's amazing. I actually had a story like that in college. It wasn't Westboro, but there were these group of men standing outside of a train station and just like vehemently going against LGBT people. And I was with my friend from college. We were both gay. Nothing like them. And he was just like, let's go. Because there was like a little crowd. Let's go in front of him and kiss. And I've never been more terrified and proud of myself.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Exactly.
They were shouting. We kissed, and they literally stopped talking for like 20 seconds. It was a kiss, but it was a powerful statement.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what sexuality, you know, or over sex, like, I don't even see it sexual, it's like you're living your life. You're having fun. And you're living in a way that, sure, some people won't approve of, but do they pay your bills?
It's also like we live in such a community that sexuality is seen as such a taboo thing. Like, it's like...
Girl, have you been to Europe?
No.
Oh my...
But even like European TV, like...
Europe is so...
Girl.
The craziest thing I've seen in European TV, there was a reality dating show where there was a contestant, and they did male, female, gay, and straight, one at a time, and there was a contestant, and there were like these 4 panels, and there were people standing behind them. And there was like one fact you learned about, and the panel would raise up a little bit. And so you would see like their leg. And then the panel would raise, there would be another question. The panel would raise a little bit and you saw like their thigh. And they would get eliminated by this person. And then like 3rd question, full up the top, like breasts, penis, everything.
What?
On public television.
Oh my
This was a reality show. I was blown away. I was like, you couldn't even get this on HBO to happen in America.
No.
We are so behind when it comes to sexuality and being open with our bodies and things like that. Like, it's insane. It's actually insane. So, you know, and you know what? Maybe that's why we should be okay to be sexual in public, especially in a month of Pride, at the Pride Parade, where just be yourself and have fun. Girl links. You thirsty bitch, Adriana.
Oh, God.
So we have one last question from Bill, who we think is the best dressed news anchor on TV.
I don't watch the news. Oh my God, clearly I don't.
Well, the lesbian me wants to say Rachel Maddow, but
the gay man inside me wants to say Anderson Cooper.
Of course it does.
Of course.
I actually think Scott Pelley is a very, very attractive guy from CBS.
Okay.
And I met him once, and like complete plainclothes, this towering man. I was like, hi, but I would say Scott Pelley. Scott Pelley is like, he's like everything you want like a gentleman to be.
Yeah.
Or at least, not behind closed doors. Adriana, I will send you the links, girl. It's real, and you're gonna have a heyday because it's like literally they're like a straight girl walk in and it's all guys. A straight guy will walk in and it's all girls. A gay girl will walk in, all girls. A gay guy will walk in, all guys. It's crazy. I wish they played it here.
It would be so interesting.
It would be so interesting. It would take off. Mary Lee says Mika Brzezinski. She's actually do you know who that is?
No.
She's actually a really fierce newscaster. Like, I know the name because she looks fabulous all the time. So, kudos, Mary Lou. we're reaching the end of our cocktails and contours. But this has been so much fun.
A lot of fun.
And like I you know, it's Pride Month. I'm so glad that we got to like talk about like real stuff at the same time that we were able to like encourage people to just like be you.
Exactly.
You know, you should be you every day of the week. But like Pride Month is not just for LGBT people, it's for everyone. Come out, have fun, support your bars, support your drag queens. Come out to the parade. There's so much stuff going on, and just be you. And that's whether you're a drag queen, whether you're an office manager, whether you're whatever, you just like be you.
And tip your bartenders.
Tip your bartenders and your drag queens.
And your drag queens.
Where can we find you on social media?
Everywhere and anywhere at Catrina LoveLace.
She's a whore, I know.
Yeah.
So Catrina LoveLace, and both L's are capitalized.
They are, yeah.
Both L's are capitalized.
I don't know why. I was like thinking about that recently.
Well, so here's because there was that actress in Deep Throat.
That's where I got my Linda.
I was gonna say Linda. I was just like,
face.
girl, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
The question is, does Catrina have the gag reflex?
Oh. You'll have to find out. Read my Yelp reviews.
Girl, hit her up on Facebook. You found out and post it.
Or Craigslist.
I feel like we're prostituting you.
Yeah,
It's fine.
basically.
I'm making no money off of this, so you can't sue me.
There you go.
This has been Cocktails and Contours. I am Bella Noche. My special guest this week was Catrina LoveLace, who I had such a fun time with.
Yeah.
And we still have more margarita to drink, so we're going to keep partying and drinking here. I am back in 2 weeks, not next Wednesday, the following Wednesday, with my special guest, Wendy Waxwood, or I should say, Wendy Waxwood.
I love that.
That was cute. So be sure to turn in, and I got enough likes, girls, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be wearing braids.
You want to borrow this one? No.
No.
Oh.
That'd be a little bit of shade, just a little bit. It wouldn't be Cocktails and Contours without a little bit of shade. Anyway, guys, you've been great. Thank you so much for tuning in, all your questions. You guys are great. Again, I'm here in 2 weeks again. Be sure to tune in, and happy Pride, chicas.
Bye.